Hi, I'm Kara, and this channel is about human connection and navigating change in your life, in organizations, and more broadly for collective well-being. Now, I mentioned connection to self in a previous video. There will be many more videos on this topic, but I want to start by establishing what does it even mean to connect to yourself? I won't go into a huge philosophical debate about the nature of the self or how to define the self here. For the current purposes, connecting to self is not actually an intellectual exercise. It's about connecting to that deeper part within you, beyond the mind, which is an unwavering source of peace and knowing. It's also about awareness of all parts that make up you. Your mind, yes, but also your body, your heart, and your spirit. I first started learning about connecting to self at the age of 15. I was focused on getting off some anti anxiety medication, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, but at the time I really wanted to because, nerd that I am, it was giving me brain fog and I couldn't concentrate at school. So, in an attempt to manage the raging anxiety, I started yoga and I absolutely hated it. 15-year-old me was so unimpressed. Having to slow down, be present, ugh. But I was really determined and made myself go to a very traditional class every week, again and again, because it was supposed to help. Although at the time it was making me really frustrated. Over time, however, I started being able to slow down enough to be present and to connect with my body in a new way. And I went from completely disconnected to a lot more present and a lot more accepting. Now, this process continued over many years, and yoga is not the only way to do it, but the connection to myself helped me recover and live a normal life in a way that I never thought possible. Now, that's a pretty big example, but what might connection to self look like otherwise? It's not complicated, but it doesn't mean it's easy. For me, it's feeling deeply rooted in your body and in who you are, not the ego, but you. It's also sitting with yourself through the full spectrum of the human experience, from your joy to your grief. It's connecting to your heart, connecting to your inner child and your glee. It's being able to really feel what lights you up, what inspires you, what motivates you, and what gives you energy, what helps you get into flow, and what helps you tap into your inner strength. It helps you feel more you, more alive, more content, and less influenced by external opinions, trends, and shoulds, because it helps you know what is and isn't a good fit for you. However, connecting to self requires connecting to your body and to your heart, and this can be really challenging, especially for three big reasons. Firstly, emotions and experiences that are beyond our capacity to handle at the time can make us disconnect because that's how we're wired to survive. There is no shame to it, it's the normal human response. But if we stay in that response, we also stay disconnected. Two, we live in systems designed to disconnect us. We're taught to override our body signals, to continue being as productive as possible, to keep consuming, and to derive our value from external sources. Being disconnected from our bodies benefits a society and systems that see humans as resources. We're taught to associate our value with how productive we are and to seek value and worth through what we consume, how we look, and how we perform. And this isn't to say we should all just stop and do nothing, far from it. But it's just worth noting how disconnected many of us have become, and it does require an intentional effort to reconnect. And three, it's even harder to connect to the body and the heart when, in the modern age, intellectual knowledge is put on a pedestal, so we often live up in our heads. Almost everything we learn at school, at least when I went to school, was to do with the intellectual way of knowing. We're generally taught that other ways of knowing, such as emotions, are better suppressed and that rationality is key. Although I do believe that, at least in schools, this might be changing for the better, which is awesome. But we look at the intellect and reason as the way that we need to make decisions, analyze our actions and reactions, our emotions and behaviors. If we want to do something new or differently, we think of the logical approach and the explanation. We identify with our thoughts. If you feel angry, sad, or disappointed, you might try and rationalize yourself out of it or tell yourself that you shouldn't feel a certain way, which does disconnect us. Whereas connecting to the wisdom of your body and to your heart and your felt experience enables you to feel all those emotions without judgment or control, and importantly, to not be controlled by those feelings. Because as much as we like to say that we're rational creatures, we tend to make emotional decisions and then try to rationalize them retrospectively. You know you've done it. But if you're aware of your emotions and can start to acknowledge them and feel them, we can make more informed choices too. Our body has a wisdom beyond the mind, and it's not some complicated or spiritually advanced concept. Think about the times where you've had to make a decision where one thing just looks perfect on paper, but if a part of you contracts because you know it's not right for you, you might not be able to know why, but there's a contraction. You just know. Tuning in and listening to this is part of connection. Connecting to and being fully in your body, not just in your head, helps you recognize and align with this knowledge and your values so that you can also live more authentically. This connection also enables you to understand your needs, your wants, and set loving boundaries, which facilitates healthy and meaningful connections to others. And this enables you to tap into and realize a sense of greater purpose, presence, and overall connectedness. When you inhabit and connect with your body and your heart, you disconnect from external pressures that tell you how you should look, how you should feel, how you should be, and instead you reconnect with your inner resources, that self-worth and knowing. It helps you inhabit who you are and what you want, rather than being buffeted around by the waves of other people's opinions, trends, and validation around you. It's a necessary part of well-being. It's a foundation of inner stability, contentedness, and self-knowledge, and that enables you to live in greater alignment with what matters most to you. And that's why being able to reconnect with yourself again and again, because you don't stay connected, you disconnect, reconnect, reconnect again and again. That's why this is so foundational to creating inner stability and transformation, as well as creating a life that's true to you. So I hope you can take a moment today to explore what connecting to yourself looks like for you. And I'd love to hear about what helps you do that for you too. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you again in the next episode.